Hi, I'm Nancy Stohlman, and I am here to answer your questions or attempt to answer your questions about flash fiction. So today's question is how do you decide what to cut from your work? Which is a great question. And it's a great question not just for a flash fiction writer, but for any writer, really. If you're a poet, if you're a novelist, a memoirist, if you're a journalist, if you are wanting to write really great emails, looking at what can I cut so that I can really get to the essence of what I want to say. And for me, I like to look at not what I'm cutting so much as what is left. So you may love that sentence, but when you take it out, is what is left more prioritized, given a more privileged position because it's not surrounded by all the bramble of everything else that you were saying. To me, it's the metaphor of like one rose in a beautiful vase, or like 100 roses crammed in a vase. So 100 roses crammed in a vase can be very like beautiful but also overwhelming. Like we're not really going to get to see the beautiful details of that one rose because we have 100 roses, and so all these different roses are swallowed up in there, right? So I think sometimes our language is a little bit like roses. And are we just putting a lot of roses in there because it's beautiful and cool? Or are we allowing some breathing room, some space, some white space around our words so that the 3 or 4 roses that we're choosing to leave in there are actually given more emphasis and more priority uh, because of that white space that we're creating around them. So when you're looking at what to cut, there's kind of 2 methods. I think it's chipping and chopping is what I talk about in my book Going Short, an invitation to flash fiction, which is going to be out this fall. I'm very excited. It was supposed to be out in June, and we had, the plague, and so it's going to be out this fall. So I'll tell you more about that as it gets there. But one of the things I talk about is chipping versus chopping. So chipping is when you're like pruning, you're basically kind of taking out like a couple of words or maybe a phrase or maybe a sentence, maybe if you're bold. And that's usually where people start. If they're realizing I need to shape this, I need to edit it, I'm going to just like, the faster way, I think, to get into flash fiction mentality is to chop. And chopping would be taking out a whole section, a whole paragraph. Very often, the beginning of your story can be chopped and you can come in later, or the end of your story can be chopped and you can end sooner. But I tend to find that the best editing is really a combination of the two, but the chopping usually has to come first. You really have to decide like what did I just enjoy writing, and so I don't want to let it go because I really liked that paragraph, versus what does the story really need, and does it really need this paragraph, and could I let go of it, and the story itself actually becomes a little bit more prioritized. Whatever you take away allows whatever is left to have more symbolic importance. I'll say that again. So instead of thinking about what am I taking out, think about what is going to be left. Whatever is left after you clear away all that bramble is going to have more significance, more importance because of the white space you've created around it, because of that breathing room around the word, so to speak. And so when I look at what to take out, I look at what can I chop, what can I chip, and what is left. And I don't even think about what I took out. I look at what is left and I say, is the story now clearer? Is it more welcoming? Is it more inviting? Is it more mysterious in a way? Not mysterious like we're going to confuse our reader, but mysterious in like, I'm not going to spell out every detail for you, but I'm going to allude. It's the impressionistic painting as opposed to the realistic painting. And the impressionist painting gives us a little illusion of lake and trees. And that's kind of what flash fiction is doing. We're painting the picture very softly using minimal details. So as you look at your story, to answer your question, I would ask yourself, what can I chop out of here? What am I just like attached to, but really doesn't need to be in here for the story? And then how can I prune what's left? How can I kind of tighten it even more so that it becomes this beautiful little hedge? And yeah, start there. Let's see how it goes.